BBC One.
In Blue Peter, you can find out about the funny things people do to celebrate the beginning of May. That's after Newsround today, presented by Chris and Julie at 10 Downing Street.
A new government for Britain as Labour sweeps to victory in the general election. Plus, children give their verdicts on the nation's choice. Hello, and today we're devoting the whole programme to the historic events of the last 24 hours.
I'm in Downing Street, where earlier today Tony Blair entered number 10 as Prime Minister for the first time.
It's been an incredible 24 hours. Labour are celebrating the best election results they've ever had. There are still a few results to come in, but most of them are known. Labour will have 418 MPs in the House of Commons, the Conservatives 165 and the Liberal Democrats 45. It's expected Labour will have an overall majority of 179. Mr Blair has already started naming his top team, and Julie's been following events outside the official home of our new Prime Minister, number 10 Downing Street. Julie.
Well, Tony Blair and his family are now settling into number 10 just behind me here. The Labour victory brings to an end 18 years of Conservative rule. Newsround's Joanna Robinson reports.
There was a rapturous reception for the new Prime Minister when he arrived in Downing Street this afternoon.
As I stand here before number 10 Downing Street, I know the huge responsibility that is upon me and the great trust that the British people have placed in me.
It was a phenomenal defeat for the Conservative Party. All the polls had predicted a Labour win, but the scale of the victory surprised almost everyone. The first seat to be declared last night was Sunderland South. The count was completed just 46 minutes after the polls closed, the fastest time ever. The Labour victory there was soon repeated all over the country. Millions of people tuned into the BBC's election special to watch this incredible story unfold. Even some of the most prominent Conservatives were voted out of power. These included Michael Portillo, the Defence Secretary, Malcolm Rifkin, the Foreign Secretary, and Ian Lang, President of the Board of Trade. The number of women MPs in the House of Commons has more than doubled. At least 118 will take their seats in the House of Commons when it reassembles on Wednesday. The Liberal Democrats are celebrating. They've more than doubled their number of seats in Parliament. The Scottish National Party increased their number of seats by 3. Conservative supporters are devastated. It's the worst election defeat for the Conservatives for 150 years. The party now has no MPs at all in Scotland or Wales. This morning, the Prime Minister, John Major, left Downing Street for the last time. He congratulated Labour and announced he'd be stepping down as leader of the Conservative Party.
It has been an immense privilege to serve as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom over the last 6.5 years. It's a privilege that comes to very few people, and it's a very precious privilege indeed.
Once the Conservatives have come to terms with their defeat, the battle will be on to find a successor to John Major.
So, Julie, what's it been like in Downing Street today?
Well, it rarely gets as busy as it has been today in Downing Street. The changeover happened incredibly quickly. John Major moved out this morning, and within hours after the election result, Tony Blair had arrived. This morning, John Major left for Buckingham Palace to give his resignation as Prime Minister to the Queen. The removal vans were already loading up. Mr Blair also made a trip to see the Queen, where she asked him to form a new government. Then on to Downing Street and to the house, which will eventually be home to him and his family. Just emerging now is Robin Cook, the new Foreign Secretary.
Mr Blair has just confirmed me as Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom. After 18 years of trying to get rid of the shadow in the title, I am delighted to shed my shadow today. Labour now has an important task of giving Britain back a strong voice in world affairs.
Well, obviously there's changes going on all the time, and last month saw the outbreak of election fever in Britain's schools.